century. And he lived a multiplicity of artistic lifetimes, creating all sorts of amazing transformations in his work throughout his career. He worked in virtually every medium you can think of: painting, watercolor, drawing, ceramics, sculpture, etchings, lithographs, lino cuts. It's truly impossible to wrap your mind around Picasso's genius, and he will always be one of the most influential artists of all time. Pierre-Auguste Renoir, when you say the name, it conjures up swoons in many people's imaginations. He was one of the greatest of the Impressionists, one of the most powerful and greatest masters of color, and an artist who continues today to be very influential, as Impressionism, even into the 21st century, is still a vital and important art form. Renoir became infirmed with rheumatoid arthritis late in his life, and it was impossible for him to hold the brushes in his hands and hold the crayon in his fingers and etching needle to make his works. So they were literally lashed into his fingers to be able to create these astonishing paintings at the end of his life. When you look at the body of his work, which is voluminous, you see such a consistent quality and focus on beauty and classicism, and Renoir will be forever one of the most sought-after artists in the history of art. Marc Chagall, in my opinion, was the epic poet of the 20th century. In the same way that a written poem will use a word to create our own associations and bring our own ideas to it, so Chagall used visual images: a bouquet of flowers, lovers, the Eiffel Tower, a fiddler on the roof. These are all elements of his visual vocabulary. And when Chagall made a work of art, he said he would put it up against a God-made object like a flower or a tree, and if it clashed, it wasn't art. He also went on to say that when he created his art, he was competing with the beauty of flowers and failing. Chagall created his own nature, he created his own imagery, and there's no particular style that you can attach to Chagall. He was just Chagall. Joan Miró was one of the greatest of the Surrealist masters. The man who wrote the manifesto of Surrealism was a man named André Breton. And Breton said that of all the Surrealists, Miró was the most surreal. Miró was trying to clear away all the things we think art should be, to get at the essences, making a mark on a surface and creating visual energy. And there's something that resides inside his work that is so powerful and so evocative, people still today are trying to interpret it. Miró freed his mind from the restrictions of nature and opened up the complete possibilities of a pure visual language. The subconscious played an important part in his work. Randomness and chance, prehistoric art, and the art of children were all sources that Miró used to found his amazing virtuosity. So what do all these artists have in common from these different eras and styles? The command of their tools, the virtuosity of their technique, and their singular visions, which have become timeless and have gone on to inspire generation after generation of artists and will continue to do so. They are the mark of the master.